Welcome to another episode of Tubules Live. Today we're very lucky to have Bon Newsome and Pete Gibons with us. Bob is a commercial director at Dentinal, which is a leading manufacturer company in infection control products. He's very enthusiastic about this topic and regularly gives CPD lectures on infection control and decontamination. Pete Gibons is the decontamination product manager at Henry Schein. He's been working with HTM-0105 since its introduction in 2008. Pete has a team of decontamination specialists who provide regular advice to all Henry Schein customers. So, I'm sure you've already probably guessed that today's topic is cross-infection control. So I'd like to hand over the floor now to Bob. Thank you.
Thank you, Rena, and good evening, everybody. As you can see from the slide here, dental infection control, decontamination and HTM-0105. Thank you very much for joining us. This is a document here that you should be familiar with, hopefully, which is the 2013 edition of HTM-0105. This document was first published in October 2008, so we're 5 years in to this particular document, and it's something that you should be very familiar with. I'd like to take us through the agenda for tonight, so that we're all on the same page and we know exactly what it is that we're expecting. There are two speakers tonight, as Rena's already said. That's myself and Pete Gibons, and we're going to split this talk up between Peter and myself. I'm going to talk for the first half of the evening, and then we'll take a break, and then Peter is going to come on and talk, and then I'll come back and finish off the evening before we take question and answers. So starting at the top, in a few minutes I'm going to start talking about the principles of infection control. We're then going to follow that looking at the different transmission methods of infective agents, the different pathogen groups, specifically bacteria, viruses and prions. Then we're going to take quite a detailed look at water quality in surgery. And then we'll take a break before Peter comes back on and talks in some detail about instrument decontamination. That's a subject for which there is more content in HTM-0105 than any other area. And Pete will give you a very insightful talk on all things related to instrument decontamination. And then just before the end, I'll come back and I'll talk about how do we maintain the working environment? How do we make sure that as practitioners and also as members of the public, that people visiting the dental surgery or working in it leave it in just as healthy a state as they did when they came in. So that's what we should be covering during the course of tonight's talk. Our aims and objectives are to raise awareness and understanding of infection control issues in dentistry, and importantly to relate those back to the industry guidelines HTM-0105. So everything that we discuss will be pinned and underpinned by the guidelines HTM-0105. And what we aim to do is to provide strategies to control infection risks. I'm sure all of you are familiar with the document, and in most cases all are already doing a very good job of making sure that the dental environment is a safe and effective working practice. So I hope, if anything, that you will simply have all your good behaviour endorsed tonight by what we discuss. But there may be areas upon which you stumble across new information as new science comes to light that we may be able to help you with during the course of this particular discussion. So to start off with, if you'll allow me to indulge just for a second, let me introduce the company that I work for by way of setting the scene. I work for a company which is called Dentinal. It's part of a group of companies based up in Derby called the Quadraline Group. And Quadraline, as a manufacturer, has been manufacturing detergents and disinfectants since the 1930s. I've only been there for 8 years, but in my time the company has become a specialist in healthcare infection control. And we've used some of the competencies and knowledge that we've gained in other industries to dovetail those with healthcare infection control to bring out some quite unique formulas to help dentists achieve their objectives of compliance. We are, as a company, one of the fastest growing companies in the UK dental market in the space of infection control. And our aim as a business, of course, is to sell products and be successful and to make money. But above that, by way of principle, I think, our objective is to assist dentists in navigating the narrow path between what a document is asking you to achieve and the pressures that you face on a daily basis in terms of time, finance, etc. And that's really where the tension lies in most experiences that I've had with talking to dentists, is the tension that exists between trying to achieve what a document tells you need to achieve and what is practical on a daily working basis. Here are some of the companies that we work with in the healthcare sector. We work with the NHS supply chain, principally in the laboratory areas of the healthcare. So we supply some of the public health laboratories, which used to be called the Health Protection Agency. We also supply public mortuaries, healthcare in virology, immunology. Some of the major acute hospital laboratory facilities use our products for testing and maintaining an effective working environment. In the machine detergent disinfection and decontamination environment, we work with a company called Getinge, a Swedish company. They're actually the world's largest manufacturer of medical devices based in Sweden, and they manufacture reprocessing equipment, capital equipment for decontamination of endoscopes, flexible endoscopes, washer disinfectors for the decontamination of instruments, and autoclaves for the final stage of sterilization of instruments prior to them going back into use within a clinical environment. Thirdly, we work with a company called Thermo Fisher Scientific. They market a range of our products into the life science and veterinary sector. And last but by no means least, Henry Schein, the world's largest dental distributor, also the world's largest veterinary and medical distributor for what it's worth, who market our range of Dentisan products both in the UK and also